Live from Storm Track 8, this is a Wish TV weather alert.
That winter weather alert, a winter weather advisory is in effect for parts of central Indiana. Snow moves through the area. Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey has the latest in the city's certified most accurate forecast.
Hey there, David. Yeah, and it's a rough one out there. The good news is most of the roads are in pretty decent shape. They're wet. Visibility has really been the big problem if you've been out traveling for the last 3 or 4 hours. You mentioned that weather advisory, winter weather advisory, goes until 8 o'clock in the morning. For much of central Indiana, really the exception is going to be our far southern counties. I have updated the snowfall accumulation map for areas basically on the north side of Indianapolis and points north, so basically north of I-70, now to 3 to 5 inches, maybe an isolated spot that's a little bit more. The big reason for that, there's 2 reasons. One, a lot of you are already up to 2 to 3 inches of snow north of Indy when you started the snow around 5 o'clock this evening, 4 or 5 o'clock. And also back into Illinois, we're seeing reports of 4, 5, even as high as 6 inches of snow, and that's where the end of the snow is right now. So that's where we may end up. It's going to be a very thin swath. The rest of us probably in that 1 to 3 inch range. Again, roads are in okay shape. You can see it's widespread, pretty heavy snow, so visibility is not great. I'm going to take a look on the northeast side. This is Keystone and 465. Again, low visibility, snow on the grass. The interstate in itself, though, seems to be okay. So we'll watch that carefully. As temperatures cool, we'll likely start to see at least some slushiness on the roads. Be aware of that if you're an overnight traveler. Futurecast from basically now through midnight, that drier air trying to work in. We may start to shut this down close to the metro just after midnight. And I think by around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, this is completely gone. So it is a quick hitter, but again, it's going to add up. Coming up, we're going to track more of this snow hour by hour. The active pattern continues, including a severe weather threat just a couple of days away. We'll talk about that in my 8-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Marcus, thank you. Crews are out working to make sure the roads are safe for you tonight and for your morning commute. 24-hour News 8's Megan Sanctorum is live right now with a look at road conditions. Megan, good evening.
Good evening, David. Well, right now you can see there is a good amount of snow coming down outside here in Indianapolis. We're along Meridian Street, just north of downtown. If you take a look, you can see the snow is starting to stick on some of the grass across the street. However, the roads at this point just look like they appear to be wet. INDOT representatives tell us they started preparing for the snow early this afternoon. Here's a look at their lot this afternoon. They tell us 25 crews hit the roads around 4:30 to begin pre-treating them. Then at midnight, they'll send 60 trucks out to plow and continue treating as needed. As for the local roads here in Indianapolis, the Department of Public Works tells us 70 trucks went out around 7 o'clock tonight, which is just before the snow started falling in this area. It's a sight many people didn't expect to see on Easter, April 1st. We spoke with people who came to Indianapolis for their spring break this week.
How would you describe the weather right now?
Cold. Quite cold. Very chilly. Not spring-like at all. Our plan was to, come up here for spring break, swim in the pool, and not really get snowed in. So I'm hoping that, it all melts by tomorrow.
And they're saying that it melts, and they're hoping that the roads are clear for tomorrow. Now, as always, crews with DPW and INDOT say slow down if you have to go out and drive in this, and give those crews space to work. Reporting live, Megan Sanctorum, 24-hour News 8.
Thank you, Megan. IMPD is investigating a shooting that left one man dead this evening. It happened around 5:30 on Hawthorne Lane. That's near 34th and Emerson. Police tell us officers responded to a call of shots fired, and when they arrived, they found one man in his late 30s dead inside a house. Right now, there's no word on the motive or possible suspect. And in Crime Watch 8 tonight, a man is facing murder charges after a stabbing in Indianapolis. It happened last night around 7:30 at an apartment near 38th and Mithofer. Police say 2 men were stabbed. One man later died at the hospital. Witnesses told officers the suspect ran into a nearby apartment. The IMPD SWAT team arrived and arrested 38-year-old Christian Ortez for aggravated battery and murder. Police have not yet released the name of the victim pending family notification. Medics took 4 people to the hospital after a crash on the northeast side of Indianapolis. It happened around 6 on Massachusetts Avenue near Valley Avenue. 2 of the people hurt in the crash are children. The Indianapolis Fire Department says the man driving may have had some sort of medical episode which caused his car to cross the center line and hit a concrete wall head-on. An adult female passenger was listed in critical condition. The fire department says the children were properly restrained in car seats. And coming up on 24-Hour News 8, a woman is hit by a patrol vehicle as protests continue in California over the police violence shooting of an unarmed man. Welcome back. Another night of protests in California state capitol 2 weeks after the deadly shooting of an unarmed black man by Sacramento police officers. One protester ended up in the hospital with minor injuries. Kim Hutcherson has the latest.
Protesters filled the streets of Sacramento again Saturday night following the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man 2 weeks ago. Demonstrators marched despite a heavy law enforcement presence. One woman was struck by a Sacramento County Sheriff's cruiser, sending her to the hospital with minor injuries.
A woman was walking in between the two vehicles, stopped in front of the deputy's vehicle, put up her hand in a stop sign, and the vehicle accelerated very fast and struck her violently. And she fell to the ground, and the deputies then sped off.
In a statement released Sunday, the Sacramento Sheriff's Department said the cruiser was moving slowly and noted that the vehicle was not damaged by the impact. It was vandalized by protesters after the collision. The protests come after the fatal shooting of Stephon Clark, killed in his grandmother's backyard by Sacramento police officers who thought he had a gun. Investigators only recovered a cell phone from the scene. Police initially said the officers fired 20 rounds at Clark. An independent autopsy revealed on Friday that he was struck 8 times, with 6 shots to the back. The Sacramento County Coroner's autopsy will be released when the case makes it to court. Until then, protesters demand action.
No justice! No peace!
I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
No justice!
A lot of snow flying around central Indiana at this hour. We still have a few more hours to go. What will we end up with? When does the snow move out, and how does your morning look? We'll talk about that in my Storm Track 8 forecast next.